Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and this video is a bit of a departure from the norm, but it's something I feel really strongly about, so I want to put it out there. I had a really negative experience. Yes, this video is about something that happened to me whilst a guest at the Westin in Charlotte 2.5 weeks ago. And I tried to resolve this issue through proper channels privately with the company itself, and it was not resolved to my satisfaction by any stretch of the imagination. So I thought I would try this issue in the court of public opinion. Now, what I want to try to do is tell you the facts. What happened, from my perspective, of course, and I want you to know how I feel about it as well. Now, look, I'm not going to promise that I'm not going to get agitated about it because it does really frustrate me, but I really am trying to try to give you just the facts without embellishment. And I want your opinion as to the right and wrong of the situation. And if you think that I am justified and you believe that the Westin did not handle this issue appropriately, I invite you to take this video and tweet it to them at Westin Charlotte. Because I think it's important that employees be held to correct standards and that the hotel is aware that this issue was not resolved to the satisfaction of their guests. Now, I may be a guest at the Westin Charlotte in the future because I was there for work, and it's not up to me as to where I stay, and I want to make sure that if I'm there in the future, I can feel comfortable and protected while at their establishment. So here's the facts, right? Here's what happens. I'm a guest there as a referee for a fencing tournament, and I was doing my other job, this job, one evening, the last evening I was there, on Monday night, I was doing a live stream. My friend was in the room with me, right? Some of you may have been there for that live stream. We had a lot of fun. It was an enjoyable time. It was a kickback, relax, hangout kind of live stream, and we started probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and we went till the wee hours of the morning. So early on, probably 11:30, somewhere early on in the stream, well before midnight, but still pretty late for a Monday, we got a knock on the door. Now, were we being loud? Yeah, we were being loud. I mean, it's two people in a room. It's not like we're throwing a rager in here, but we were laughing. We were carrying on, going back and forth. We were probably getting a little rowdy and excited because we were reliving the Eagles playoff game against the Bears the night before. So there was definitely some volume at play. So when the knock came on the door, my immediate thought was, uh-oh, this is a noise complaint. And okay, not a big deal. This has happened before. I haven't personally been the person getting a noise complaint in a hotel in my memory, but I've been in rooms where there's been a party that's gone on late and someone has gotten a noise complaint. Security guard knocks on the door, you open the door, they say, hey, we've gotten noise complaints, please keep it down. And you say yes, and everyone carries on, right? That's been my experience. So this is what I'm expecting. I'm like, oh, okay, darn, bad us, we'll have to be more quiet in the future. So I go to open the door, right? I open the door, and there's a man in a suit with his little earpiece with a Westin name tag. I didn't catch his name, which I really should have. But he asked me, the first thing he does, and I just want to be clear that this is not interpretation. This is his tone was gruff. It was abrasive from the very beginning. And he just immediately says, whose room is this? And I start to explain, well, the name is under my roommate. The room name is under my roommate. And I get that far. I say it's under this person's name, and he says, well, where is she? And like I said, I'm trying to recreate this as realistic as possible. I'm not trying to add anything to it. This is literally how aggressive this guy's being already. Where is she? I say, well, she's not here. Well, where is she? Well, she left. Okay, well, who are you? At which point I finally get to explain to him the rest of the sentence, which is, she checked in first, so they told me the room was under her name. However, my name is also listed on the room because we are roommates here working a fencing tournament for the weekend. And she says, okay, so that's who you are? Great. I need you to step into the hallway. So immediately I'm going to do what he says, right? I've been in this position with authority before, and when they're utilizing their authority, and I'm in the wrong here, right? I made a noise. I made a lot of noise. I caused guests to complain, so that sucks, and I have to deal with this. I'm in the wrong, totally. All right, this guy wants me to go in the hallway. I'll go in the hallway, but I'm thinking this is a little weird at this point. Comment below, have you ever heard of somebody coming to the door and demanding that the person come into the hallway, as in leave the room, shut the door behind them, go into the hallway to address a noise complaint, or have you seen it handled at the door? I've seen it handled at the door. I don't know. Maybe you've seen this before. That would actually be really helpful for me to know. But like I said, I haven't. So now I'm in the hallway, and he tells me, look, I want you to know we've had multiple noise complaints coming from this room. And it from multiple guests. I came up here, I could hear you guys from down the hallway, and I said, look, I'm really sorry. I understand, but I'm doing my job. And at this point, I explained I'm a YouTube personality, which sort of took him aback for a second. I think he was expecting a party, and he's getting this. I'm doing my job. I'm a YouTube personality. I understand we got a little carried away. I'm very sorry. And he says, oh, okay, well, this is unacceptable. This is totally loud. You're disturbing other guests. He's on this little rant about how horrible I'm being, essentially. And he says, and look, if I have to come up here again, I'm not going to be so nice next time. And I was like, whoa, dude, you're not being nice this time. And he's like, oh yeah? Well, maybe that's so, but I'm going to be even less nice the next time. And I'm like, what? At this point, like, that's a threat, right? Am I crazy or is that a threat? Like, if you're already dragging me into the hallway and yelling at me, what is less nice? Are you gonna body slam me against the wall next time? I mean, so this is where my head is at in this moment. I'm totally freaked out. I'm like, that's just a weird thing to say to somebody. I mean, obviously I don't think he was actually going to do physical violence to me, but that statement in that context, oh yeah, well, I'm not being nice. You think I'm not nice now, just wait till I come back here. And I'm like, what? So that, correct me if I'm wrong, that just seems like a weird thing for a security person to say to an adult guest at this hotel. I don't know, maybe I'm blowing things out of proportion here, but I'm like, that's messed up. And I was like, don't worry, you're not gonna have to come back. We're gonna be quiet. I'm sorry. You know, I'm still being fucking nice at this point. Why? I don't know, but I'm still being nice to this guy. I'm like, you're not gonna have to come back. It's not an issue. He's like, well, good, because like I said, if I have to come back, I won't be as nice. And if I have to come a third time, you're out of here. And I'm like, all right, baseball umpire, you know? So I'm like, so at this point, I'm just like, oh, you're not going to have to come back. You're not going to have to come back once. It's not going to be an issue. Like, I just told you it's not going to be an issue. I've been compliant. I've been telling you we're going to do everything you want to do. You know, I've been telling you from the beginning, we're going to be quiet, and I'm sorry. I'm just totally confused now as to why he's being this aggressive with me. So he's like, you know, I don't want to have to come back here. I'm like, you won't. I promise you will not have to come back here. And he's like, all right, then. You can go back in your room now. And I said, okay, well, can you let me in because I don't have my key? And he goes, of course you don't. And I'm like, what? Excuse me, you were the one who demanded that I step outside of my room. You didn't exactly make it sound like, excuse me, I'm gonna go get my key was an option. I said that right to him right there, and he was just like, oh, whatever, open the door and let me go back inside. I'm like, what an additionally unnecessary thing to throw on this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that just, this whole interaction was just unnecessary, was incredibly rude, I mean, it was harassment. In my understanding, protocol is, we get a noise complaint, we knock on the door, we say, hi, can you guys keep it down? We've had a noise complaint, and we don't want to have to come back here, and we say, okay, and then you go away. That's standard protocol, right? Am I wrong? Am I missing something here? So am I wrong in saying that this additional condescension, abrasive language, threatening language is we're bordering on harassment here? Am I wrong? Am I crazy in thinking this is a complete inappropriate way for someone in this position to behave? No, I've worked campus safety before. I worked on a college campus where you had drunk, rowdy college kids all over the place, and our officers never spoke to the students with that level of disrespect. So I come back, I sit down to the live stream, and we're talking. I'm sort of making fun of the whole situation. I'm saying what happened. I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts, you know, and we're talking about it. But as I'm sitting there, it's bugging me. It's continuing to nag at me. So I decided to go down and I talked to the desk about it. So I did. I left my friend in charge of the live stream. I went down and talked to the desk, and I have to say, the people working at the desk, the two lovely ladies, there was the receptionist there and the night manager, and they were both incredibly nice. They listened to me. They seemed receptive. They seemed responsive. The receptionist got me a bottle of water, and the night manager got me the email address for the head of security so I could send him an email and address this issue. And this is for me, look, I don't want any recompense here. I'm not looking for a freebie or a handout or anything like that. I'm not looking for anything. All I'm looking for is for someone to say, we understand your concern. This is a problem, and we will deal with it. We will address the officer in question, the security person in question, and we will deal with it because that behavior is unacceptable. I just want it to be acknowledged by this hotel. I want to feel comfortable going to a Westin and knowing that their company policies, we don't harass our guests. That's it. That's all I want. So I email this guy, I tell him everything I just told you, including the part about how I worked in security, and I've never seen anything like that before, when dealing with not just adult people, but your guests, the guests at your hotel, you know, people who pay to be here. And he responded, and it was mostly a lot of pleasantries, niceties. Oh, thank you for your service as a security officer. You know, thank you. You know, it's so great that you're doing YouTube, whatever, blah, 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 with one relevant line. And that line was simply this. It was, I suggest in the future that if you don't want to have these types of interactions, that you just don't make a lot of noise. That was it. It was something maybe like, I'm sorry that you had a negative experience with one of our team members, but if you don't want this to happen again, don't make noise. Like, it was just totally okay. Like, you can just treat people like that in a professional position, and that's just a fine thing to do. So that was baffling to me. Again, if he had just said, all I was looking for, if he was like, I understand what you're saying, that behavior is unacceptable, we'll be reviewing it, we'll discuss it with the officer, and if we feel that there was, we agree with you, but just if we feel that the situation was handled inappropriately, if we feel there was any wrongdoing, we will speak to the team member in question and take disciplinary action if necessary. That's all I want. All I want is to know that you are listening to me and that my opinion and my experience as a guest at your establishment is valued. That's it. And what I got was, well, suck it up. too bad. If you don't want us shitting all over you, then just be quiet next time. And I'm like, what? So I'm furious. As you can clearly see, I do not find this at all in the realm of acceptability, not even close, not even scratching the surface of acceptable behavior. And I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to do about it? I can call up the Charlotte police and file a harassment report, but that just seems like a lot more trouble for me than it's worth. And it's not going to get anywhere anyway. They'll be like, okay, this is going on file. But the reality is this guy's walking around there at night, unsupervised, presumably by anyone. He's probably like the head honcho in the evenings and doing this to people. And it's not cool. I'm sorry. It's just not cool. So if you agree, if you think that's not cool, please, once again, tweet this at Westin Charlotte and let them know what you think of that quality of service. Let them know what you think of the way that they treat their guests in that regard. And maybe somebody there, maybe management somewhere there will take a moment to address this concern and actually deal with it like fucking professionals. So that I don't have to do this, because this isn't fun for me. This is not what I want to do. I didn't make a YouTube channel so I could get on here and point fingers at people and be like, you did this and you did that. I'm using this as a last resort, because I went through the channels that were available to me and I tried to resolve this like a goddamn adult, and you don't want to have that, so here you go, Westin. This is what you get. Anyway, like I said, if you agree, please share this with Westin on their Twitter at Westin Charlotte, or put it other places in the world. I really, really appreciate you guys taking the time to hear me out on this, because again, all this is about is just wanting to be heard, right? So the fact that some of you guys are going to listen to this and hopefully agree with me, and hopefully sympathize with that is a bigger step, is something more valuable to me than anything the Westin gave me in this interaction. So I really appreciate that, and catch you later.